Meanwhile, angry families of those held hostage by Hamas in Gaza have been marching to Jerusalem for the past 4 days, daring the government to look them in the eyes and to take responsibility. The families, who are, of course, torn apart, are able to draw strength and courage from each other, even as they still have no answer to when and if their loved ones will ever return home. We are now joined live from Jerusalem at the march by Udi Goren, a member of Hostages and Missing Families Forum. Thank you for joining us. And again, I'm sorry that we have to meet under these circumstances. Let's start by talking about your cousin, Tal Jaime, who is one of the hostages, a family man, married, 3 kids, and a pregnant wife. Could you tell us a little bit more about Tal?
Tal is, as you said, he's a family man. He's a stand-up guy. His favorite pastime is being with his family, really. He wakes up early in the morning to make sandwiches for them to go to school or kindergarten. He makes sure he's back early from work to read them a bedtime story. He's always the first to help. He's the one member of my family, and the entire clan, so to speak, lives in that kibbutz in Nir Yitzchak. And he is just known as the guy to turn to whenever people need help, whenever people need to get something fixed. He's just a great guy.
It's so hard to see. And we also see behind you all of the people marching. And I imagine as you're marching, you're also picking up more people along the way. Could you say where you are right now?
Right. Right now we're near the village of Abu Ghosh, which is on the way to Jerusalem, and we are meeting a lot of people on the way. There are many people walking with us, and in the next bridge, I don't know if you can see it, right behind me, there are dozens of people that didn't walk but just waited for us on the bridge. We are welcomed in any place we go with either hundreds or thousands of people that are just standing out in the street, waving flags or waving the yellow ribbon that represents the hostages. And what is very, very evident is that all of Israel is behind us.
Yes.
Everybody is very, very concerned with the hostages because of the significance that they have, the significance that Israel does not neglect its civilians, that Israel cares about human lives, that we are different from our enemies, and it is up to us to prove it and bring them back.
So what are you going to do? First, how long is it going to take you to get to Jerusalem? And what are the plans once you get there? Listen, I know there's a lot of anger, but also a lot of support. You have each other. But what do you expect once you get to Jerusalem?
This march has 2 points. One is that if the government doesn't come and talk to us about what's happening, we are going to the Knesset, we are going to the Israeli parliament, and we are going to them because we want answers and we want to know what's happening. It's been 42 days and my cousin is still not back. And we want to know what's happening and if they are doing everything in their power. Right now, they're not doing everything in their power because my cousin is still not back. So it's not everything in their power.
Right.
And the other thing that this march aims to do is to show the people who sit in Jerusalem, the public servants who chose this role, that we, the sovereigns of this country, the sovereigns of Israel, the citizens of Israel, demand, this is our will, this is our wish, and everybody is behind us. All sectors of Israeli society is walking here, is marching here with us. Haredi people, Orthodox, Israeli Arabs, obviously lots of secular Jews. Everybody is with us, and we demand to bring these people home. This is Israel's moral duty.
And listen, it's it is consuming all of us, especially as you're seeing across the world, the United States, college campuses, Europe, people tearing down posters of your family members. I know right now you're worried about getting them home and worried about the government, but how does that affect you as well? The people are in denial about it.
It's an awful feeling, and I can tell you that to me personally, it's not very surprising. I mean, this happens with every single round of violence that Israel and the Palestinians have. The extremity and the radicalization keeps expanding, and it's awful. It's awful. I think it's a part of the tragedy of this region. I don't blame them. You know, if I didn't live here and I didn't know what was really happening here, and all I saw is what's happening on the news in the past 40 days, I can tell you the sights coming out of Gaza are horrific. I feel that way myself.
Yeah.
And so, but you know, I am a citizen of Israel.
Right.
And I right now can't make any claims to anybody else anywhere in the world. That would be, you know, step 3 or 4 in what we have to fix.
Right.
Step number 1 is that my cousin that you're now showing on screen has to be reunited with his family.
Yes.
And the country has to see the hostages back to get us out of this spiral of depression and anger and grief and torment, so we can actually start moving forward and building a proper future that we deserve and the Palestinians deserve, to stop this cycle of never-ending violence and move forward and find a long-lasting resolution.
Right. Udi, thank you very much for sharing your story, and we are of course praying for your cousin and all the hostages to return home. This is very personal for all of us, and thank you for your courage in marching and speaking to us today.
Thank you, and thank you for keeping this on the top of the news, because there's really nothing more important at this point.
That's so true. That's so true. Brigadier General, any further comments? Listen, obviously the hostage is a big deal, but there's also a mission to accomplish. It's a very, very tough position for Israel to be in right now.
Well, unfortunately, this conflict caught us kind of between the rock and the hard place, in the sense that many Israelis feel that this conflict was, I wouldn't say initiated, but was a chance for Hamas, who saw that the government is losing the trust of the people. And it's losing the trust because it wanted to drive a change in not just the policies, but a change in a regime change in Israel. That caused a backlash. And obviously now or after the war, there'll be a lot of blame game. The government, unfortunately, is not doing anything to relax that blame game, either through the conduct of the Prime Minister or Minister of Finance and the right-wing ministers who actually attack the government or the cabinet for its decision to acquiesce to what the Americans and the Europeans are pressing us for a minimum of humanitarian relief to Gaza for sanitation and drinking water. So there are so many issues that are interconnected that cause the families of those hostages to feel a mistrust towards the government, not just Hamas. And this is I would say, a grave situation, which is not eased by any actions taken, or almost any actions taken by the government. So this is a major, I would say,
rock in a hard place.
Yeah.
Brigadier General, thank you very much for your assessment, and thank you all for watching the I-24 News Desk.